So Pete Alonso made history as it was home run derby yesterday at Citi Field in New York. Now after Whit Merrifield's two-run double, Vladimir Guerrero sent his 9th long ball over the left field wall to give Toronto a 3-0 lead. Then the Blue Jays extended their lead after Alvarez made a throwing error while trying to pick off Matt Chapman at second base. Now the error allowed Chapman to score all the way from second, I might add, to make it 4-0 Toronto. But New York would eventually tie the ball game up at 4 after 2 home runs from Pham in the 3rd and 6th. Not to mention 2 more long balls came off the bats from Alonso and Marte. Now Alonso's home run was a record breaker, as this home run officially made Alonso the all-time Citi Field home run leader with 72 long balls, as this blast broke the tie he had with former Met Lucas Duda. Now, despite these 4 long balls, they would lose to the Blue Jays 6-4 following a Brandon Belt 2-run shot in the 7th. Now, the White Sox were looking to complete the sweep against Detroit, but Torkelson's home run in the 4th put a damper on the Sox plans early. Not to mention the Tigers lefty Matthew Boyd was going strong as he completed 5 innings, striking out 9 men and only relinquishing 3 hits and allowing a single run. Now, unfortunately, the Tigers were unable to provide any more offensive support for Matthew Boyd as their closer, Alex Lang, came in a tight one, and despite him being May's reliever of the month, he would allow 4 runs on just 1 pitch to Jake Berger, who was able to crack a walk-off grand slam to send the White Sox fans home happy as they would win the ball game 6-2 over Detroit. Now, I just have to say, as a Tigers fan, these 2 past series have really been a letdown for me. I mean, losing to the Texas series 2-1, then getting swept by a team in the Sox on the road, who you just won 3 out of 4 from a week ago when you played them at home, is a big letdown. I gotta say. I mean, the Tigers are a weird team. They give me hope as a fan. They really do. They give me some hope. The minute I like kind of buy into them, like, hey, they can make a run at this thing, the minute I think that, they just kind of like fizzle out somehow, some way. And then I don't pay attention to them anymore. And then what do you know? They reel me back in after winning, like, you know, a big series against a team like, I don't know, the Diamondbacks or something, who they're going to face in this upcoming week. They'll play the Diamondbacks and they'll win because they're the best team in the National League. And they're going to sweep the Diamondbacks or something on the road. And then they're going to lure me back in. And then they're going to lose to the Athletics or something. I mean, it's really been a back and forth, emotional, you know, roller coaster for me as a Tigers fan. I mean, I have to say the Tigers, when they do lose, they don't get blown out. If you look at the games that they lose, it's really not like a 10-2 blowout loss. It's like a 6-4, 2-1, a 3-2, a 4-2, a 4-1. It's not like they're losing by like +6 run deficits. I guess that's the only thing that keeps me hopeful as a Tigers fan. Now, Green is out. That sucks. I don't know if you guys know about that, but Riley Green is on the injured list. A lot of the starting pitching has been hurt for the Tigers. Manning, Mize, Skubal. I mean, he's a big lefty. I like him a lot. But yeah, that's my Tigers rant. Thank you very much for sticking with me on that. Anyway, speaking of sweeps, the Yankees were attempting to do the same thing in Hollywood against the boys in blue, the LA Dodgers. Now, Bobby Miller for LA and Domingo Germán for the Yankees went toe-to-toe on the rubber as they both worked 6 or more innings. Now, despite Miller having a more successful outing than Germán, as he racked up more Ks, 7, and did not allow any runs, his team did not end up coming out on top, as late inning luck from Higashioka in the 7th and Cabrera in the 8th gave New York a 2-1 lead. Then a Volpe souvenir secured a 3-run lead for the Bombers as they would go on to win the ball game 4-1 and complete the sweep of the Dodgers in Southern California. Now, there were some bad news to come out of LA for the Yankees despite this sweep at the hands of one of the best teams in the senior circuit. The Yankees announced Nasty Nestor will be headed to the 15-day IL with a left shoulder injury. Now, Cortez is expected to undergo an MRI on Monday or Tuesday back in the Bronx to determine the severity of the injury. Boone said that Cortez had been having difficulty bouncing back between starts. He says, quote, "We don't think it's anything too major." Now, Boone said that he does not believe Cortez is looking at a possible surgery, but he says, quote, "That's our sense now. But again, we haven't had the test." That's the trainer's sense, that it's probably not surgery. But then again, we're speculating there. It's not great news. I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, my head would be exploding. You're 6.5 games out. You're 6.5 games out. And again, the Rays are on one hell of a tear. I understand. But again, you're behind teams like the Orioles. Okay? I mean, the Orioles, come on. Despite them having the best catcher in baseball and them doing pretty damn well themselves, as a Yankee fan, you know, you're spending close to $300 million on your payroll, and a team in the Rays is kicking your ass, and you're spending a ton of money on Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Josh Donaldson and all these guys. And, you know, this isn't great news. I mean, Judge can't do it all. Cole can't do it all. Cole cannot do it all. I'm sorry. You need to have a deeper rotation, a healthy rotation. Again, Montas is out. Who remembers him? I forgot about Frankie Montas. I totally did. I'm sorry. I forgot. I did. And then Rodon, the big signing. He hasn't appeared in a game. A 60-day IL. Montas 60-day IL. They'll be back probably post-All-Star break. And you're hoping you can be in contention, within striking distance at least of the Rays, for the division post-All-Star break in Seattle. That's what you're hoping for. And if you are in that situation, let's say you are in that situation, what do you do at the deadline? Do you go out there and do you get a starting pitcher? Because I don't really know if you need to. Because again, your deadline is going to be the return of Montas and hopefully Rodon. And then maybe Cortez if he lands on the IL. So you're waiting for 2 to possibly 3 guys to come back post-All-Star break. Is that like a good enough deadline for the Yankee fans? Probably not, but I don't know who we're going to go after. I thought about, aside from him now struggling with the Tigers, maybe a guy like Eduardo Rodriguez, but again, you're going to have to give up a lot to get Erod. You're going to have to give up a lot because, again, he's on a 5-year deal, and I think it's only year 1 or 2. That's going to be a hefty package. Also, maybe a guy like Bieber from Cleveland. That's another guy I think could be a possibility because the Guardians aren't doing well, and they said if they're not in it, they're willing to sell. That would be probably the best bet for New York. Comment down below who you think the Yankees should go after if they need anybody at the deadline. Now, the NL's best 2 clubs finished their series yesterday at Chase Field in Arizona. Now, the game was tied at 1 after 2 full, following a Orlando Arcia double play that scored a run for Atlanta, and then a Perdomo double that tied the game at 1 for Arizona. Now let's jump to the 4th when Atlanta tied the game via a home run from their second baseman Albies. It was 3-all. However, that didn't last long as Ketel Marte's 9th inning home run gave the Snakes the lead once again. But the Braves stormed their way back in the 8th after 2021 NLCS MVP Eddie Rosario went yard in grand fashion, putting up 4 runs on the board for Atlanta and helping them secure the W 8-5. And that's all I got. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, don't forget to check out my Lou Gehrig documentary, The Toughest Man in Sports. And as always, I will catch you guys later.